Welcome to InfoSec Explained. Today we're going to be looking at NMAP. NMAP is a great little tool for mapping out networks, identifying hosts, and identifying the services running on those hosts. NMAP is free, as is Linux, and as you can see on the screen here, I'm running CentOS 5.8 inside VMware Player on my Windows 7 PC. Running under Linux, NMAP is faster and the results are more reliable than the Windows port. I'd highly recommend that you run NMAP under Linux, so if you don't have a Linux environment, look out for one of my other videos where I can help you set it up. So let's dive into NMAP. NMAP can be used to scan a single host or to scan a range of hosts. In its most simplest form, the command to scan a single host would be nmap followed by the IP address. As you can see from this result, 10.10.10.2 is not responding to ping requests. When you initiate a scan, NMAP will initially ping the host to see if it's responding. If it responds, it will then go ahead and scan the host using TCP SYN scan. In this particular case, there's no 10.10.10.2 on my network, and so NMAP has given us a warning to say that a host appears to be down. If you still would like to scan it, then initiate the scan with a -P0. That's going to say, NMAP, go ahead and scan it even though you don't get any response to your ping request. Let's go ahead and scan a host that I know to be up, which is my default gateway 10.10.10.1. As you can see, NMAP is pretty quick. It scanned the host in less than a second. It scanned about 1,000 ports, 1,000 well-known ports, and the results are shown on the screen. If I'd like to scan specific ports, I can initiate the scan like this. NMAP 10.10.10.1 -P. And then I can specify my ports. FTP, maybe, SSH, Telnet, SMTP, and port 80 for a web server. Let's try that. Okay, we can see FTP is closed, SSH is closed, Telnet is closed, SMTP is closed, but there is a web server running. If I'd like to find out what version of web server is running, so that I can maybe look at possible vulnerabilities and exploits, I can use the -SV option to try and ascertain version information. So let's give that a try. NMAP 10.10.10.1 -P80 -SV. It's a small s and a large v. What it's going to do now is going to look through a database of about 6,000 possible versions of different software, and by performing various tests, looking at the responses received, it has, in this case, ascertained that it's a HTTP SQUID web proxy version 2.7. Stable 9. The next thing we can do is we can use the switch -O, and it's a large O, to try and ascertain the operating system which is running on the target host. So let's give that a try. NMAP 10.10.10.1 -O. O for OS. What it's going to do is going to look at the responses of the packets coming back from the machine, and it's going to try and ascertain what version of operating system is running, based on lots of things such as TCP window size, sequence numbers, and a lot more. In this particular case, it's told us that we have IP cop running, version 1.4 to 1.4.6. That's actually exactly what is running. So in this particular case, it's been very successful in determining the operating system which is running on that machine. So for a quick recap, NMAP followed by the host with an O will give us the operating system of the host, and with an SV, as a small s and a large v, think of version, it'll give us the version of the services found to be running on that machine. And you can do it like this. You can string them together to look up everything at once. Obviously it's going to take a little bit longer. Just one thing, earlier on when I did the -SV, I did a -P80 and I didn't really explain what it was for. Oops, -P80. Obviously just before that you had seen me do -P21, -22, -23, etc. So this -P80, because I knew from my previous scan that the web server was the only service which was actually listening on this server, I just put -P80, so that's the only port it would scan. Just saves time. One other detail which is worth knowing is that when specifying ports, you don't have to specify the exact port, sort of 21, 22, 23. You can do a range. So I could say 80, 81, 110 for POP3, and I could say 2000 to 3000 if I wanted to. So you can actually add ranges in there. Okay, so we've looked at scanning a single host. Now let's look at scanning a range of hosts. NMAP 10, 10, 10, 1 to 254. That's going to scan my whole network because I'm running a Class C network on my LAN. Another way to do this, which is also accepted by NMAP, is to use CIDR notation, which means 10, 10, 10, 0/24. Makes no difference how you specify the hosts to scan, whatever's easier for you. So let's go ahead and scan some devices on my network. NMAP 10, 10, 10, 0/24, -P 21, 22, 23, 25, 80, 110, 33, 89. Yeah, that should do for now. So we've got all the ports we scanned earlier, and we've included 3389, which is Microsoft Remote Desktop. Okay. Okay, so 35 seconds to scan the network. As you can see, the results have scrolled down the screen a little bit, and it can be a pain if you're scanning a large network. I mean, we only have 5 hosts up, but you can imagine if there was 125 hosts, it might be a problem in terms of scrolling up and down the screen. That's why I like to use a little program called T. T is a program that will write the results in 2 places. It'll put them in a screen for us to see it as it happens, but it'll also put them in a file. So I want to run that scan again. This time I'm going to put the pipe T and to a folder and to a file. So all this is doing is running the same scan. You use the pipe sign to take the results, send them into the program called T, and one of the arguments to the program called T is the file name, which is /temp, the dot for the current directory, temp for the directory underneath it, and the file name is going to be results. So what this is going to do, I'm going to take the results we receive from NMAP, it's going to write them to the screen and to a file in my temp directory. By doing this, no matter how many results we see, we can quite easily scroll up and down it and look at it in a file. So they've been saved for us. Okay, so we've got port 80 open on my default gateway, which is my Linux server. We've got it open on my Belkin access point. We've got SSH open on .87. We've got a Netgear, you can see there, Games Clan PC on .98. So you can see various devices on the network, 7 hosts up, scanned in 26 seconds. And the results will be written ls-temp is a file called results, and I can look at that file with cat temp results, and I can use the pipe to more to have the screen stop per screen. There we go. So we've got 10, 10, 10, 1, 3, 87, 88, 98, 254. 7 hosts, 26 seconds. Okay, the last thing I want to show you is the greppable output. The more I use Linux, the more I find the grep command to be very, very helpful in parsing results. So let's just change directory to 1. Okay, get rid of that file we created earlier. Yes, please. Okay, so I'm going to use a bigger network this time so I can get more results, so I can better demonstrate the usefulness of the greppable output. NMAP 74.207.244.221 minus P. I'll scan 22 and 23. Okay, I'm going to write these results using T as we did earlier, and this particular one is going to be non-greppable. Okay, so this is going to be a result set which are non-greppable. You will see what I mean in a moment. Oh, my mistake. What I needed to do there was not scan one host, but scan the full /24, the full class C range on which that host is found. Okay. So when we finish this, we're going to have a file called non-greppable. Then we're going to do it with the greppable output. We'll make a second file which will be greppable. Then I'll show you how they differ. So there's your first set of results. Now let's change this to greppable. And we'll use the switch, actually OG, which is the switch, minus output greppable already takes a file as an argument, so we don't need to T it. So in this case we're going to call it greppable. Okay, so whenever you use our OG you don't need T, because you have to specify the file, otherwise NMAP will complain. Okay, so same range, same ports, but with OG greppable. So when this finishes we'll have two files, greppable and non-greppable. There we go. Alright, so ls, greppable and non-greppable, cat, non-greppable, that's what it looks like, cat, greppable, that's what it looks like. Now the difference is, if I want to show only the IP addresses or the hosts of the hosts which have 23 open. Let's go 22 open, there's more of those. So altogether we have 194 hosts, but if I say cat greppable, pipe that to grep 22 open, and then we see only the hosts that have 22 open. Oh, I'm just going to use word count to count how many. 155 you can see. So rather than being 194 hosts shown, where some of them have SSH closed, what we're seeing is 155 hosts with SSH open. Let's see if there are any hosts here with 23 open. Right. Wow, there's only one. So in that 194 hosts, only one of them is listening on the telnet port, which is, as you probably know, is quite insecure. It doesn't encrypt anything, so passwords are clear text, etc. So it's not a very secure protocol. Okay, so that's pretty cool, the greppable output. I hope you can see why, if we did that with the non-greppable, did we do it like that? And we grep for, say, SSH. You see what's happened? It's showing the lines which say 22 is open, but we're not getting the IP addresses because it was all on different lines. So hopefully you can see now that the greppable output is much more useful. Okay, that concludes our look at NMAP. It's a great little tool that I regularly use at work. If you found it interesting and you'd like to see more of my videos, then go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to be doing my best to release on a regular basis. I'm going to be covering lots of information security and digital forensics tools. Videos coming up on things like DriftNet, DSNF, Nessus, TCP dump, and some digital forensics tools. So hit the subscribe button, you'll be notified when I release a new video, and I'm going to do my best to make sure that it's both informative and interesting for you. See you in the next video.